So I'm joined today by Rob Levy, and we're at Sierra Celebration. So thank you, Rob, for taking the time to come and chat with me.
No problem. Happy to do so.
Great. So I think a lot of agents would like to hear the story about how you became a realtor, how it all began, and your transition of starting Real Pro Systems. So would you mind sharing that whole story with me?
Sure. Yeah. I basically I don't have much of an education, but I did get into the automotive field, and kind of found my niche in selling automotive parts and service equipment. So I was selling for a large company called Bear Automotive Equipment, and I became the top salesman in the country at a very young age, and started investing in Los Angeles at the time in rental properties. And what I found, and I should add in there that that's all about service, and I eventually ended up going to be a service manager at a BMW dealership.
Oh.
And of course, nobody goes into a BMW dealership after spending lots of money on a car, wanting to spend money to get the car serviced. So it was all about customer care. And in the process of those two careers, what I found was that basically there was no service from realtors. So here I am learning how to have really good customer care, especially in Sherman Oaks at a BMW dealership, dealing with lots of actors and actresses and stuff like that, where your customer care is really important. And automotive service equipment, selling lifts and so on to car dealers and repair shops all around the country. It was all about customer service, and yet I wasn't getting any. And simple things like I'd bought a house, wanted to buy a rental. Couldn't get the realtor that sold me my house back. Finally bought a rental, thought that guy was great, wanted to buy another one, couldn't get him to call me back, and so on. So one day I thought, gosh, if I applied what I've learned from taking care of a service manager at a BMW dealership and selling automotive equipment to selling real estate, I'd probably do pretty good. And that was, as of today, about 28 years ago.
Well, that makes sense on how Real Pro was created. I didn't know that initial story, so I thought you were already in real estate and were like, I can't find what I needed. But you're already being prepped to understand that customer service was something that was necessary in general, and a home purchase is so big for everyone.
Yeah, so along the way I moved to Portland and raised my family, and I became the top agent in town with Prudential for several years, and I met a guy at a conference actually who became very good friends named Galen Haas. And he was looking for a techie guy to help him out. And I knew somebody named Joe Leininger who'd moved to Eugene. And I said, hey, you need to hire this guy. He said, well, I don't really know. I'm like, trust me, you need to hire this guy. And he did. And so along the way, we were sitting, and our common interests were all rabid Oregon Duck fans. So we were sitting there at a game, actually just chatting about business and how we could come up with these ideas of stealth sites and so on. And we thought, well, let's have Joe couple something together for us. And I talked about it at Prudential's Top Agent Conference, and Galen talked about it at the time at Remax's Top Agent Conference. No, actually it was Star Power. And about 10 people said, hey, can we get that? So we literally had Joe cobble together some stuff for 10 other people, and that's how Real Pro got started. It just kind of took off and took off and took off, and I think the significant difference was it was created by realtors for realtors. So rather than the company trying to say, you need to use this is realtors saying, we used this, and it was so good that now we're letting you use this. And that was the difference, and that standard still continues today in the company.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed when I first started working with the company about 2 years ago, and to the point where I almost considered becoming a realtor because the system was so awesome. And it reminded me of another system I saw that Adobe created, the same idea with drip campaigns, but this was geared for real estate agents. There's a lot more that was needed, and that system is fantastic, and so is this one. But so when you were talking about Real Pro Systems and at was it Keller Williams or Prudential?
Prudential back then.
And then Galen was talking about it where he was speaking.
Mm-hmm.
How long had you been using the system before you started speaking about it?
It wasn't that long. That's far less than a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're seeing like instant, immediate results right away.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And to this day, it works tremendously well for me, and it covers all price ranges. Mm-hmm. We sold a house last year, and in 1 week, cash showed them 4 houses for $2.2 million that came off of our stall sites, and they were in there for 1.5 years.
Wow.
So you just never know what you're going to get. But the reality is, the way that I look at it is, I'm now a well-known realtor in Portland, Oregon. Most people recognize my signs because I sell a lot of homes. So I've got all these people that call me every day saying, hey, I can get you on the first page of Google. Well, first off, it's really not true. They can only get 7 on the first page. Mm-hmm. And if I type in my name, I've got a unique name, I can easily get on the first page of Google. Mm-hmm. But if I'm typing things like homes for sale, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. What Real Pro does so well is that we use stealth sites like Portland MLS. So we'll do an ad that'll say, you know, find your next home in Portland, Oregon, or if you're looking for a 3-bedroom house in Portland, click here, and so on. And those are people that never would have come to my website, ever, ever, ever. And what we're finding is about 50% of our buyers that come from the stealth sites are from out of town. So if those people literally went to Google and looked up realtor, I mean, they could go through 50 pages of realtors and never know who to call.
Yeah.
But they are responding to these ads.
Yes.
So, of course, the theory then is just building up rapport with these people by sending them the drip emails and the video emails and the listings.
Yes.
And we're calling them, and we sell quite a few homes off it and still do today.
So when RPS was created, and it sounds like it just kind of evolved organically, you know, talking
Mhm.
about it and people were wanting it. What was the stealth site initially the first tool that was added to the system?
Yeah, actually, the stealth site was the first tool, period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we realized we needed to have regular websites as well because agents didn't have good regular websites.
Yeah.
Or they were hiring people that had nothing to do with real estate to build their websites, and awful things were coming out. So it made sense to kind of package it all together and make it one system with one login, and it kind of morphed into many other things from there.
And this was about 10 years ago, was it?
This is about 12 or 13 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then was the drip campaigns the next thing added on?
The drip campaigns were built right from the very beginning with the stealth sites.
Oh, okay.
So the first thing was the buyer stealth site with a drip campaign,
Mhm.
and then the seller stealth site, then a FSBO site, and then the regular websites, and just kept going from there.
Because you already understood that there was a level of customer service needed from your time, you know, selling vehicles, you know, the BMWs, because they were never, you know, having that face and recognition, constantly keeping in contact with them after a sale.
That's what it's all about. I
Yeah.
mean, we've all seen studies. I'm here at the CRS show right now, and I was listening to somebody yesterday talking about another study that just came out for the National Association of Realtors, where 88% of people say that they will use their realtor when they buy the next home, but less than 15% actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And my contention is most of those people lose contact with their realtor and they don't know who it is, so they can't reach them even if they wanted to, because most realtors don't stay in touch. So that's how it kind of morphed into something where we're sending out electronic newsletters and you know, listings and sold listings and so on, just to kind of stay in touch with people and keep our face in front of them.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So,
and when did the IDX tool come into play with the system?
oh, it must have been about 8 or 10 years ago. That varied by market, because a lot of markets, where I live in Portland, Oregon, was actually the first in the nation to use IDX. But a lot of them, I have a very dear friend of mine in Ohio, and they just got it last year in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So it really kind of varies on the markets and where you are. But that's a big piece of it.
Uh-huh.
Even to this day, when you start thinking about mobile, one of the issues that we're seeing is that home buyers are using apps that they download on their phones, which people are getting kind of fed up with downloading apps. But when they're downloading Trulia.com, Zillow.com, Realtor.com, yeah, they're great apps, and the person can just click on it and find the house and all the information on the house and all the houses around it, but it's showing all the listing agents' information. Mm-hmm. So RealPro today has a web-enabled mobile application, not an app, so they don't have to download it, and they click on Find Me, and it shows all the listings around them branded to me, just because it's coming from IDX. So little things like that make a massive difference in the amount of business that you do.
And that's a key statement. You said the little things make a huge difference, and that's when I look at RealPro, the system in general. There's a lot of little things happening to kind of make it function just so well, and to help the realtor, you know, sell real estate while the system is working for them.
Exactly, that's the key, because we're supposed to be out. The only way we make money is writing contracts,
Mm-hmm.
listing contracts, and actually selling people homes.
Yes.
So we need something in the background doing the work for us, and this is what RealPro does.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing your time. I know it's kind of busy out here, so
No problem.
and we can understand the origins of RealPro systems. So,
Yeah, good.
all right. Thank you, Rob.